Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. Today we are going to be talking about the most debated topic in the Mustang community. Does a tune void the warranty on your Mustang? So if you're new to the channel, this is my 2019 Mustang GT that is tuned by Lund Racing on a 93 tune. And I've had two instances where I've had to ask the dealer, one for the check engine light, one for transmission, and what would happen if I brought the car in for those issues and I am tuned. So I have personal experience, not just something I've heard. This is all basically what I've gone through with this car. So I'll tell you in both instances what the dealer said to me, and I'm basing this video off of that. And now there's a lot of different opinions out there, so I'm giving you my personal experience with my dealership, and I think that's the key as well. You have to know which dealer you're working with, because some dealers, they absolutely hate mods and they will do everything and anything in their control to deny you the warranty claim. Even though Ford is paying for it, they want to play it super safe. But in some instances, if you know the guy, if you know who you're talking to, who your service advisor is, they might be able to bend a couple things as long as they don't have to pay and Ford is going to be paying. So this is basically my experience with my dealer. Your experience may vary, but I just want to give you my thoughts on this. So it's been tuned for about 15 to 20,000 miles, I want to say. And the car has been absolute blaster drive. It's with the Lund Racing tune, the transmission shifting, how the car behaves, all of that has been really good. And I want to clarify one thing, the issues I've had are not directly related to tune. They've been just there before even I was tuned. So I don't want to say if you tune the vehicle, you're definitely gonna run into issues. So first issue I had was actually the transmission issue, the 10-speed transmission. Don't we just love the good old 10-speed transmission? The Mustang can never get the shifting right. Even though it's co-developed with GM, the GM shifting strategy seems to be a lot better than the Mustang, unfortunately. Although I've heard they have improved that in the 650 Mustangs. I can kind of notice the difference since I've driven a couple of them. But yeah, so before even the car was tuned, I had some 10-speed issues where if you were stuck in 10th gear and you tried to do a kick down to 6th or below, you would result, the car would basically downshift very aggressively and it was not fun. So that was done before the tune. I had only 10,000 miles on the car at that point, and they updated the software, everything was good. And this started popping back up randomly here and there. So I was kind of nervous to tune the car, but they ended up getting another software update and tuned the car. And guess what? To my luck, it came back. So when it first happened, I was kind of panicking that I just tuned the car and it's been maybe a couple thousand miles since the tune. And now the issue is back. And I was like, I don't know if the dealer's gonna cover it. And I don't want to pay out of pocket because the car was still under 5-year and 60,000 mile warranty. So I called the dealer. I said, hey, I have the tune in the car now, but the transmission is acting up again where it's resulting in harsh upshifting in 3rd and 5th gear. Sometimes it just does a lot of gear hunting. It's not just fun to drive. So is there anything that Ford can do about it? And the dealer was like, yeah, bring in the car, we'll check it, we'll plug in our software, we'll drive it around, and if there's an updated software available, we'll do that for you. If not, we might have to do a little bit more diagnosis on our end to really figure it out. And I was like, the car is tuned, I just want to make sure that's not an issue. And he asked me what kind of modifications I have. I was like, I just have a tune and a catback. He's like, don't worry about it, just reflash the car to stock, drive it around for 1,000 miles or so, so the cycle count kind of resets itself. Bring the car in, we'll treat it like if it's a stock car, and we'll proceed with the warranty claim as long as there's nothing damage that's related to the tune itself. And of course, with the tune that I had, it was just a 93 octane tune, so nothing special or anything like, race car stuff, basically. So in that instance, he did not care the car was tuned. It wasn't even like he was trying to bend the rules. He said as long as the car is not extensively modified, like if you got long tube headers or maybe supercharger, turbo, or something like that, then it becomes an issue. But if you have a car that's relatively stock on a relatively mild tune, they don't care about it as long as you're not being as long as you're not being annoying to them and giving them reason to deny the factory claim. And that of course depends on who you get as your service advisor and who your dealership is to begin with. So I would recommend, if you just bought a car, or if you're in the market to buy a used Mustang, just have a good relationship with your service advisor. So if these kind of issues pop up, you can have a casual conversation with them and just kind of gauge an idea. Because this was, even before I tuned the car, that was one of the first questions I asked. What happens if I tune the car and there's some issues, but I'm still under factory warranty? And I was given the answer, as long as you're not doing something crazy, long tube header, catless exhaust, supercharger, or anything like that, or cams or anything, he's like, you'll be fine, you'll be covered. But if you go extensive, then it really depends. We would have to evaluate if the mods actually cause the issue, which in that case, it won't be covered. And to me, I think that was understandable. Like, if I'm going crazy on the mods, it's not Ford's fault, it's how I'm treating the car. So that was all fine, and then I drove the car just like normal until I crossed the 50,000 mile mark and I had a check engine light. Right after the 5-year mark where the warranty was over, still less than 60,000 miles, but over the 5-year mark, 50,000 miles, light came on for catalytic converter. Now obviously that was not fun, so I called the dealer again. I was like, hey, I have this light. It comes and goes, so it's kind of odd to me because typically if it's emissions related, it would just stick around, but I was like, maybe I had some, I don't know, bad pump gas or something like that. But either way, I called him as a precautionary. I was like, hey, this light keeps coming and going. I know I'm out of the warranty, but there seems to be a federal warranty about that all manufacturers have to cover the emission-related equipment for 8 years or 80,000 miles. So I was way under that in terms of the years and the miles. So he said, yep, that will be covered as long as catalytic converter will cover it for you, or the dealership, not the dealership, but the manufacturer will cover it for you. And again, I asked, hey, I have a tune in the car. Do you think Ford will cover? And their response, return the car back to stock, drive it around for about 1,000 miles or so. Once the cycle resets, bring the car in, we'll treat it like it's a stock car, and if it's truly the catalytic converter, light is still on, we'll replace it free of charge for you. So yeah, in both instances, the check engine light and the transmission, my personal experience has been the tuning or the mods don't really void the warranty on the Mustang or really any car. Now, if you're going very extensive with your mods and you're going, building your engine, getting camshaft, long tube headers, catless exhaust, then you're kind of pushing the boundary, and unless you really know your service advisor, you're gonna run into issues in terms of getting it fixed for free. I would say mod these cars, have fun with them. They're amazing cars. 5.0 sounds good, 10-speed is amazing. Mod it however you want to, and just have a good relationship with your service advisor. Don't go too crazy. If you are planning on going too crazy, just know stuff can break, and it's not Ford's fault at that point because you're kind of pushing the car more than what you're supposed to. So at that point, it's reasonable that Ford won't pay for it because you gotta pay to play. And then let's be honest, like most people will end up doing a similar setup. You got intake, tune, exhaust, and that's where most people will leave it at that. And for those are the ones who are probably daily driving the car or just don't care for too much power because it already makes 460 stock. With these mods, you're probably at 500 crank horsepower, not real crank horsepower, and that's plenty fast for the streets. Once you start kind of going into E85, long tube headers, catless, or even boost like some supercharger turbo kit, you're probably not banking on Ford to cover stuff because at that point you're just modifying your car way too much, and it's Coyotes are really reliable, Mustangs are really reliable, but stuff could go wrong, and in that case you just got to know if something does break, Ford is not going to cover and you're going to be on the hook. So in my opinion, in my experience, doing basic stuff will not void the warranty. Of course, if something goes wrong with the car that's directly related to the tune or the mod you did, like maybe you modified the exhaust and there's exhaust leak, they will of course deny that because they can easily say you modified the exhaust, even if it's a catback, and that's what caused the leak. But if you modify the exhaust, transmission acts up, there's no way that they can pinpoint it. Matter of fact, I've had that where I had the Corsa Extreme on the car. The car was bone stock otherwise, and I took it in for transmission service, and they did not care at all that they had to cover under warranty. So yeah, guys, there you have it. There's your answer in terms of modding the Mustang and if it voids the warranty or not. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash that like button. I'll catch you guys on the next video.